Hey guys, Brian Hilliard here, author of the best-selling book, Networking Like a Pro and How to Overachieve Without Overcommitting. And I am here with my good friend, James Cooper, who is a popular speaker, coach, and co-founder of Tribenest right here in Houston. James, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks for coming by. I really enjoy spending time with you again and digging into some more stuff.
Well, today we're going to talk mindset.
Yes.
Which, you and I have been talking about this a little bit because obviously we talk. And mindset, in my mind, is one of the biggest things, certainly in terms of my own business. I feel like I've made some personal breakthroughs over the last 6 to 12 months or whatever the case may be. And mindset is really important in a lot of the stuff that you teach as well as a coach and a speaker, right?
It is. Mindset, I think, is something we've been working on together, but in my personal life and in my business life, I think mindset has been probably the biggest component toward moving something forward, moving yourself forward, feeling comfortable, but also kind of breaking through those ceilings and plateaus that can hold us down sometimes.
Well, it's funny, and I'll talk to that. Maybe there's some guys listening here, and obviously we are too. The ladies are fine with this, but I think for us men, sometimes we think that you have to be crazy. Right.
Yeah.
You're kind of like,
get a little squeamish about it.
Right. We're like, well, come on. I've got, I'm all set. I don't really need to get into mindset. And one of the points that I make a lot, and we've talked about this in the past, is that if you want to be more, you need to get more first. Right? And a lot of people, they want to have a conversation about getting more money. They want to talk about getting more clients. They want to talk about getting better relationships. But they have to be the type of person that allows them to even be attracting those in the first place. And I know we were talking before we got on the air here, we were talking from a business standpoint, and make this point with these guys, because it was a great point where you were talking about how, as you move up the ladder with clients and you're trying to get higher paying clients.
Better clients.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how that kind of looks, because mindset's a big piece, and that be more, get more.
It is, because sometimes I think people, all of us, whether we realize it or not, we're making judgments about situations.
Right.
There's a potential client in front of us or someone that wants to sell us something. We're sizing them up to see if what they're saying lines up with what we see them to be.
Right.
Who they are, how they carry themselves.
Right.
So if we're in front of either a prospect or maybe a referral partner, and we're selling a certain image, but we're not really self-aware as a person. We're not really the person we need to be.
Right.
They start feeling that and noticing that, sensing it.
Right.
The door kind of closes. We don't get verbal warning of that.
Right.
They just don't really trust us yet.
Right.
And so the door's closed. That ascension we're trying to make kind of gets tamped down a little bit. Whereas if we're growing as a person, we're open. We have an abundance mindset. We're not putting pressure on the situation. They may feel more comfortable.
Right.
Doing that interchange with us, and all of a sudden we have more credibility with them. They feel like closing the deal with us, working with us. I want this person on my team. I want to work with them.
That's exactly right.
I've seen that happen with my business several times.
I've seen that happen myself too. As I climb this ladder for generating higher paying clients or whatever. That's just the term I use. But the idea is that I personally had to get more comfortable, and we've talked about this. I had to get more comfortable with not so much who I was, but also relationships to money.
Yes.
And just how, there's this fear of success a little bit as well, right? Where you're like, I don't want to go too much. It's kind of like, what I tell people is it's kind of like, I think was it Magellan or Columbus? I don't remember which one came first. But the idea was that no one wanted to sail off the edge of the earth.
Yeah. Who's gonna go first?
Right. So people are, whichever one jumped into the boat first, they went out, and it turned out that they could go because obviously the earth is round. And I think too, a lot of times that a lot of people almost have a mental equivalent of falling off the edge of the earth.
Yes. What's going to happen when I get there?
Right. Oh my gosh.
Who am I going to be? What is it going to be like?
That's exactly
right. And sometimes I know with my case, I remember one recent experience, I was kind of pitching a perfect scenario, hoping for a home run.
Right.
And I got a great opportunity, kind of spontaneous, to say, well, we are interested in that. Come talk to me about that.
Right.
I clutched a little bit. I was a little nervous, I had not anticipated a positive opportunity.
That's exactly
You got to be ready to win. You got to be ready to present yourself with confidence in that new environment.
Right.
And I think without coaching, without people that you can trust to work with you on that, then you're not going to feel comfortable in that environment performing or even presenting yourself in a good way.
That's right.
That happens upstairs.
That's exactly right. And one of the things I know with Tribenest, which by the way is an organization here in the Houston market, we like to think of it as more of like a mastermind type group, right?
Self-development.
Things like that. One of the things that you guys talk a lot about in Tribenest is the idea of self-awareness.
Yes.
Right? right? And I know that, you use it as you go self-awareness, then you're going in terms of mindset, thank you. And then the next one is the business relationships. Talk a little bit about the self-awareness and how that kind of dovetails into this mindset conversation for people, what they can specifically do to move themselves forward.
Yeah, I think that self-awareness piece of knowing not only what we're trying to do, I'm trying to grow this business, I'm trying to grow myself, but why?
Right.
Why are we trying to do this?
Right.
Why are we getting into this market? Or let's go further back. Why did we get into this in the first place?
Right.
What are we trying to accomplish with our lives, with our families?
Right.
What's our seed of motivation?
Right.
And then what is something people can connect to with our story that goes beyond just, I want to buy something from you.
Right.
I want to get into your story. I want to care about you.
Right.
Because there may be 10 other people offering similar services, but whenever we show our true authentic self to people,
right.
we seem comfortable with who we are and what we're offering,
right.
then they're much more likely not just to buy, but to kind of get into your story, care more about the results. Then they'll not only buy from you, they'll help you grow your business.
Right. Right, which is the relationship part that you mentioned, and we'll get into that.
As we climb the mindset into a relationship, then you've got solid people who know your story, know what you're about and why. There's a second benefit on your team. For people who work for you, they now know, why are we building this business? Why are we putting more effort in? Why are we getting into this market? Because they feel the true vision of the owner, the family, the leader, that they now know why we're marching this direction. And all of a sudden, everyone's kind of going in the same direction. Amazing things start to happen.
Well, and it starts with the mindset, just like we talked about, and the self-awareness, really. Yes. Because I think a lot of times people, especially in this country, a lot of you guys are probably watching this in the United States, which is where we're from. And I think a lot of times what happens is we're so busy doing.
We are.
And as overachievers, right?
Super busy.
We're super busy. We're very achievement.
Do.
That's exactly right. Just keep going.
Yes.
Just keep chopping wood. Just keep walking. Keep running.
Yes.
Preferably.
Feeling like you're behind.
That's exactly right. Don't stop. Have coronary, heart attack at like 42, which, don't worry about that. Okay. But just keep going.
Yeah. Keep moving.
And I think a lot of times people, where they make their mistake is, and this is what I love about Tribenest, you want to have that degree of self-awareness first. And then my point, getting back into this mindset thing, is that you absolutely have to know where it is you're coming from.
You do.
And I want to make a point, actually. I was thinking about this. I did this on a podcast, I think. I don't know if you and I talked about it maybe a little bit. I think there's a mindset of success, right?
Yes.
That when it comes to certain things, you take a look at what it is that successful people do.
Okay.
We're talking about mindset of success. Well, what would it be? Part of it is, I think one of them is getting out of your own way. This is my personal opinion. You can weigh in, obviously.
Sure.
I think it's getting out of your own way. I think it's this idea that, successful people and the mindset of success, they do not get into this perfectionism.
Yes.
That's something else that's out there a lot. A lot of times people think that, if I'm going to be successful, I need to be perfect. I don't think so.
I agree with you.
And I think the third thing, if I'm just talking for a second, I think the third thing is that you want that mindset to be something that is inclusionary of, and you talk about this a lot, Dr. Meisner talks about it a lot, I talk about it a lot, abundance oriented.
Oh yeah, I think those are all huge. I mean, getting in our own way, I think, happens every day.
Right.
We don't realize that. We carry this stuff with us.
Right.
So if we can't get out of our own way, how do we expect other obstacles to be removed or to be able to overcome them? So I think that happens in a comfortable environment where we challenge those limiting beliefs. Abundance and scarcity is one of those limiting beliefs. There's not enough out there for me. Right. I don't deserve this.
Right.
Whatever it is that's holding us, some fear-based thing. When we're working off of a fear-based platform, a lot of our energy is going into the fear.
Right.
Instead of really going toward what we're trying to grow into.
Great point.
But I think, again, that starts with our thinking.
Right.
You wake up in the morning, what you think about begins to manifest itself in what you do, the people you find, the law of attraction you talked about.
Right.
Who starts coming to you? People that are of this mindset. I've seen my customer base shift toward people who appreciate who we are. Those are good clients because they appreciate our value to the community. They appreciate our value as a family member. Those are great clients. Those are the best kind of clients. So then when you come to abundance, when you really are in that scarcity and you're afraid of not being able to make it, not being enough, everything changes. Everything gets depressed. And we start thinking about competition. We start worrying about who else is doing what. You've got your eye off the road. You're looking at the obstacle. Guess where you're going to end up driving the car? Directly into the obstacle.
That you're trying to
instead
get around.
of looking forward and really looking at the abundance of opportunities. And sometimes the opportunities are not immediate. Sometimes you're going to develop something. You're going to be flexible. You're going to create an opportunity out of something bad that happens, so to speak, or something you didn't expect. Now you've got a new opportunity. The business moves a little bit. You're winning again.
I love that, because the thing that I talk about, because people are probably listening, you're like, okay, well, how can I actually do this in terms of making it work? Personally, I'm a meditation man myself. I do a couple things. Number one, I try to do some meditation in the morning.
Sure.
By the way, a really good book is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Dr. Joe, I want to say it's Dispensia. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, highly recommend that. And talks about meditation, and it talks about the idea that what you focus on does come to fruition.
It does.
The problem is, I don't know if it was in this book or another one, they said the problem is, and this is point number 2, the problem is we have a tendency of focusing on the absence of what we want.
I remember that in one of your books or one of your podcasts.
I think I've made that point before. Yeah, it's Esther and Abraham Hicks, actually. Their book is Ask and It Shall Be Given. That's another good one. But yeah, they focus on the void
or the absence.
Rather than the presence of what you want. So point number 1, meditate.
Yeah.
Point number 2, stop focusing, double negative, stop focusing on the absence of what it is that you want, or positive, focus on what it is that you want.
Yes.
And I'll tell you the third thing, James, that I've been doing, and this is going to sound funny, I have this term that I talk about, plausible stretch goals.
Love that.
Okay, so like I might put down, I want to be able to get, like I'm on a trip right now, right? And I might put down, I used to put down dollars. I did it both ways. I put down dollars, but you know what? It was making me nervous.
Because dollars are a result.
Yeah, it made, and I still put an A result, but for whatever reason, dollars were making me, I'm looking in the car. I didn't like it.
Sure.
So instead, I'll tell you what I do, and these guys can do this, and maybe, if you have another idea, that's fine. But I put down number of clients.
Sure.
And I put down, hey, listen, and I put it in an affirmation, 4x6 card. 4x6 card. I put it down. Actually, I did this last time I came to Houston. It was the first time I did it. And I put a 4x6 card. I put, I'm super excited by, I don't know, 5 clients I'm going to get. Whatever the number I put. By the end of this month or the end of this trip. It was really specific. And you know what I did? I put that on my dashboard right there in the rental car, right where the radio dashboard, 4x6. You know how many times you look at your dashboard when you're driving? It's like 20 million times.
Yeah, sure.
And what happens is you start looking at it, and it gets...
Start believing it.
You start believing it. And what you really do, mindset, your mind thinks that it's already happened.
Yeah. It's just a matter of execution. We just got to do it.
That's exactly right.
And I'm a pretty pragmatic guy. So for me, taking that one step further for me is... I'm such a doer. I'm such a busy guy.
Right.
And even if I have nothing to do, I make myself busy.
Right.
So for me, the planning part of it is the challenge.
Okay.
So I'm a very big proponent of blocking off the time. I'm a block schedule guy.
I am too.
So it's weird to have to block off time to plan and think.
Right.
But if I don't block it off,
not happening.
It's not going to happen for me.
Right.
But when I block that time off, then it's about having the right resources at your fingertips to get things done.
Right.
And when you hit a roadblock conceptually or internally, you feel that doubt or whatever, you got to have people around you that can help you. And I think like moving those pieces around, I'll call you, I'll work with one of my coaches locally, one of my friends, whatever. Like I'm stuck here. I don't have this clear. What do we need to do? Talk to me. You know me. Man, all of a sudden you get some affirmations. You may get some constructive criticism. You may get something, well, why are you worried about that? Move this to the side. But without that time, you're just going to keep doing what you've been doing.
And if you're happy with what you're getting, then keep doing what you got, because that's what you're going to get.
Very seldom do I find does it stay even. Usually you regress. It'd be nice to think you could tread water, but either you're moving forward or in my mind you're regressing.
I totally agree.
And you start getting bored with what's going on, and you start losing some belief. Your team feels it. Man, all of a sudden, why am I even here in the first place? We start questioning our business. We start questioning our products. I think that's something we talked about. Your products may be fine. But how are you relating to moving it forward, putting it in, positioning it better?
That's awesome.
So I think working with a team is critical.
And I was going to make one more point with mindset, then we'll wrap up. Is the way I kind of think of it as well. You talked about positioning and all that other stuff. And I think you and I have talked about this. I think if I look at running a business like doing a triathlon, I think we've talked about this. Okay, so the idea is I look at it like a business like a triathlon. So you've got obviously the swimming, let's call it 2.5 miles. You've got the biking, let's call it, I think it's like 125.
I think it is.
It's like a lot of miles.
It's a lot.
And then the running, I want to say it's a marathon, like 24.5 miles. Stuff.
Yes.
Okay. So what happens is a lot of people, the skills that they had to get them through one phase in the water
are different
than the skills that you're going to need to do on the bike.
Yeah,
and I think
true.
a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times the mindset is, well, I've done this in my thing and it's gotten me to this point. Yes. So I swam 2.5 miles, James, Brian. Why is it that you're telling me I need to change
something
anything
that got me here?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And the answer is because you're using, thank you, it's because you're using a different piece of equipment.
That's
and
true.
more importantly, you're at a different phase in the race.
Yes.
So you talk about, where people really don't, in my opinion, this is my opinion, where they fall down.
Yeah.
It's not understanding that they're in a different phase of the race.
Yes.
And that you need to have I'll just call it an adaptable mindset where you have something where you're like, oh, you know what? I need to learn a new skill. Imagine if you turned on CBS or I don't know where they televise it, ABC, the one in Hawaii, the Iron Man. Yeah, the Iron Man. Imagine if you saw some guy coming out of the water and he's still flapping around on the bike in his bathing suit, goggles on, thing is on here, and he's going like this, and he'd look ridiculous.
Yes.
He would obviously
get there.
He probably wouldn't even gotten to the Iron Man, because I think you have to qualify for that.
You do.
But the point, the point is that in business, mindset, and that's not something, to use a sports term, that's not something you're going to see in the box score.
Nope.
Right? You don't hear the media talking about, you don't hear that in the overnight success.
No.
You don't hear that Michael Dell changed his mindset from being a technician down in Austin to, being a business owner out in, I think he's still in Round Rock. You know what I mean? So
there was a transition there.
Right.
Right. We didn't read about it.
No, we did not. But we get this. Richard Branson, same thing. I'm pretty sure that the mindset that he had when he started Virgin, I don't know if Airlines was the first one, but I'm pretty sure that the mindset when he started his first Virgin Enterprise is different than the other 42 that he has now as he's trying to go out and do that.
You've got to grow.
Yeah, that's exactly. And we've come full circle.
Yes.
If you want to get more, you have to be more first, and that requires growth. And a lot of times, that's what the mindset's all about.
Yeah, and I think one last thing on this for me is. If we're going to grow into something new, conceptually, our mind, our heart, we're going to learn something new. Very seldom do I wake up in the morning, even if I read something, I don't just become a new person.
Right.
So it requires some help.
Right.
And that's what I love about Tribenest. That's what I love about working with you.
Thank you.
Working with others that have done these things, that have experience.
Right.
They know the pitfalls.
Right.
They know what it's like to be down in the mud sometimes.
Right.
And they also know what it's like to come out of it.
Right.
And what it feels like on the other side.
Right.
And I think that stepping up, that mentorship.
Right.
If you watch someone on that bicycle, you see what they're doing.
Right.
They help you. You bike with them. Your confidence raises, and all of a sudden, what was impossible, now you're doing it every day.
That's exactly
and
right.
Now we're looking to the last phase, and we're moving on. And things that were impossible are just every day now. So
now, I will tell you, I'm not going to go running 25 miles.
Yeah, we're going to stop it there.
That analogy is done.
Ridiculous.
But I think that's what it is that it really comes down to.
You got to have that mentorship. You got to have people around you that can support you and help you move through it.
Awesome. Well, tell them a little bit real quick. We've alluded to Tribenest.
Yes.
Tell these guys a little bit about what they can expect and what that looks like.
So Tribenest really it's that educational platform for self-development. So we have a variety of different ways and vehicles we do that. One of the things we do is we meet up. We meet up every month. We kind of talk about things like this, moving ourselves forward. Who do we need to be around? What do we need to learn, and who do we need to be to become a better business owner or sales professional?
I love that.
It feels good in a group environment to learn and to do things together. We workshop things.
Right.
At the next level, we do some group coaching.
Okay.
We get together and we kind of dig into, if we haven't figured out our business why, if we haven't figured out what we need to do to change our mindset or what that obstacle is, it feels good to do it like a family. You sit down, you talk about things, we share our stories, we try to help them to kind of reach those things. And what we're seeing with our members is they're working through things that are like something running on a program running in the background of a computer in their mind all the time. And when we get that thing identified, all of a sudden it doesn't control us anymore.
That's exactly
We're able to now I can do this. And we're seeing our members doing successful events.
Right.
We have one member who is hitting his sales goals for 2 months in a row.
That's awesome.
Who was having some challenges just finding his rhythm, feeling comfortable
Right.
as a salesperson representing a large company.
Right.
Now he's hitting his weekly goals, he's
Right.
hitting his monthly goals.
Right.
It's been amazing. And the other things we do is we use the DISC profile as kind of our language, our platform,
Right.
to help us relate to others and do things together where our communication is much more effective.
That is
That's a
awesome.
big, big tool.
Well, because one thing he didn't mention is you're a certified disc trainer.
am,
I
yes.
actually took that yesterday or
Yes.
the day before.
Yeah.
It is awesome. Highly, highly recommended. All right, so they can go see you over at tribenest.com.
That's
right?
correct.
That's TRIBENEST.com.
That's
That's
correct.
right here in Houston. It's
Yes,
actually
it
the
is.
North Houston area. And you guys have monthly, and not just monthly, but also regular meetings,
We do.
webinars, and things like that.
We do.
So that is some good stuff. That right there, guys, is James Cooper. My name is Brian Hilliard. We're saying so long, take care, and thank you for your time.